All right. What's up, Jack? This is
Let's,
Schemology Podcast.
dude, we're here. This is a momentous occasion. This is our first live reaction. We all see all these other dorks sucking views off the internet, reacting to content. Why don't we react to
Exactly.
content?
No, and also like if you're not reacting on YouTube, you're not even a fucking YouTuber. This is our initiation as YouTubers.
That's true. We need to start making enemies and friends, I guess. It's fun that I
Exactly.
started with enemies.
Exactly. Hey, what's up, Dom? We're reacting to the Metaverse. I have never seen, by the way, I have never, I don't, I saw a half of a second and Jack and I were laughing our asses off because
Ugh.
I only saw a half a second of this. I don't know what this is really. Have you seen this?
No, of course not. I listen. I respect Lex Friedman, but I have not watched many of his. I've watched maybe one interview. I think I watched an Alien interview. I think I watched it with a comedian I liked, and
Yeah.
that was the only time I ever watched Lex Friedman. It's not my cup of tea.
He's kind of boring. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to make friends here on YouTube. Whenever I see some of his videos, I'm like, hey, could you like jazz it up a bit? Like add some some pew pew pew. I get the DJs from like the 90s and 2000s that are like, this is Andy in the morning. Pew 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 pew. I get it. I get it now.
I do too. Especially, it's crazy that he's the most popular like tech interview guy, and he's really boring.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because like tech isn't. It's mostly about the ideas. Like it's not like if the most popular tech guy was all pew 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 pew, then like I I think everyone would just be annoyed. So I get it, but like,
Yeah,
come on, let's
yeah.
jazz it up a little bit. All right,
Shall we get into this?
let's just
We've
fucking
got
do it.
we
This is
have like an
so weird.
hour of this shit to watch, so we got to get
Oh my
going.
god! All right, let's do it.
Oh boy. All right.
Thursday night.
The following is a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg inside the metaverse.
Can you
Mark
stop
and I are
real quick?
hundreds of miles apart from each other.
What was that?
So are you do you think this is real? Like if you just saw this without
Ugh.
any context, would you think this is like real?
I think it's really lame. I mean, unfortunately, my what the metaverse has become, or like what they're claiming it is so uncool that I would see this and go, of course, this is definitely real.
I I mean it's so the uncanny valley thing is I don't think you can ever really get past it because this is amazing technology. I'm just say out front, great job, Meta, but also you guys are fucking weird. You guys are fucking weird for this.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
In physical space, but it feels like we're in the same room because we appear to each other as photorealistic codec avatars in 3D with spatial audio. This technology is incredible, and I think it's the future of how human beings connect to each other in a deeply meaningful way on the internet. These avatars can capture many of the nuances of
So
facial
like
expressions that we humans use to communicate emotion to each other. Now,
are
I
people just gonna
just need to
fuck with
work on
this?
upgrading my
Definitely.
emotion
Is that
expressing capabilities of the underlying human. This is the Lex Friedman podcast. And now, dear friends, here's Mark Zuckerberg.
Ugh, God damn it. Fucking Christ, that's so lame.
dude? And they almost had me for a sec, and then I see this fucking. Oh my
Oh no, Mark.
This is so great.
I would love if they showed it and they're just across the table from one another. Like
Lighting
they're
change?
literally like
Yeah.
8 feet apart.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
are
that's
they?
light
creepy
anyway.
as shit. Imagine we're on a call,
And it
and then
doesn't
you
feel
see
awkward
this
to be really
you
close
see
to
my
you.
face.
No, it
like,
does.
in
I
this-
actually moved you. I
right in
moved
your
you back a
fucking
few
face.
feet before you got into
Well-
the headset. You were like right here.
I don't know if
Oh,
people
God.
can see this, but this is incredible.
The
realism here
technology is
just
amazing.
incredible.
I will actually say
Technology
that.
is amazing.
Where
This is
am I?
incredible that
Where
we've
are
got
you,
in
Mark?
here.
Where are we?
You're in Austin, right?
No, I mean this place.
Oh.
We're shrouded by darkness with ultra realistic
It's so weird how he's
face,
just,
and it
like
just feels
looking
like we're
right
in
in
the
your
same
fucking
room.
eyes.
This is really the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And sorry to be in your personal space.
I mean,
We have done jujitsu before.
yeah, no, I was commenting to the team before that even
So-
that I feel like we've
Can you pause?
choked
pause
each
for a
other
second
from
here?
further distances than it feels like we are right
Yeah,
now.
I got you.
Imagine you're like imagine you're back at like working at a place, and instead of doing Zoom calls, you have to do this fucking dorky shit.
Oh God, they're like, hey, hey, show me your full. I want to see your body language, buddy. You know?
Yeah, like they
Ugh.
want to see if you're like a team player. Like, what if this is part of the interview process? They're like, let's try to use the AI to see if his facial, like his face movements are team player esque.
Oh God, and it's crazy that you're going to be doing this like 4 miles away from your team, like rather
Dude.
than like being in person and like having a human touch and all the other nurturing qualities of being a human being. They're going to be like, we're going to get as close as possible, except suck the living soul out of all of it. And you're going to be right next to all of your team because you're going to live in San Francisco, but we're not going to go into the office together, so you actually get none of the other benefits of human connection.
And also, like, like, what is the value out of Metaverse? Like, this probably took so much time to do. Genuinely, what is this adding to a Zoom call? Like I'm being serious. Like, what? Because I saw like some talk where they were saying this is gonna like change the way like human connection is over. What the fuck value? Like, is this actually? Is anyone actually like looking at this? Like, genuinely, if you're watching right now, and you have like an argument for why this is gonna make the work, like this is gonna add value to your shitty calls you don't want to go on, because like
This is not getting me on Zoom calls with you more often, Jared. I'll tell you right now.
if I send one, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna try to hang out in the black fucking background.
All I want is people to call me on my cell phone. I'm just like, give me a, like today it happened. Like I had a client who's like gonna go on Zoom. I'm like, can you just? He's like, I'm trying to find a place to take the call. I'm like, you're walking around New York? He's like, yeah. I'm like, call me.
Yeah.
It will be fine. We did this for 100 years before.
No, it's like this is not needed. All this is gonna do, we could get into it, but all this is gonna do is just like break the minds of like people that aren't getting real facial shit as much, and they're gonna like think this is real, and they're gonna like grow into like little like they're gonna get autism essentially. Yeah, zero value anyway.
Yeah. Well, this is good because most of the world seems to have autism already. So,
Oh,
all right.
100%. Including me.
I mean, this is
Me
just
too.
really incredible. I don't know how to describe it with words. It really feels like
Well, you have to. It's your
it
job.
feels like we're in the same room.
Yeah.
It feels like the future. This is
Yeah.
truly, truly incredible. I just wanted to take it in. I'm still getting used to it. It's like, it's you. It's really you. But you're not here with me,
It's you, Dad.
right? You're there wearing a headset, and I'm wearing a headset. It's really, really incredible. So what? Can you
Imagine
describe
Zuck
what it
just
takes
starts slowly
currently for us to appear so photorealistic to each other?
He's
Yeah,
like,
like, I'm-
now that
for
I have
background.
you here.
We both did these scans
now that I
for this research project
And it's
that
on
we have at
camera, so
Meta
we have
called
to do it.
Kodak Avatars.
Yeah,
And
but also
the idea
the cock
is
he
that
makes for himself
instead
is
of
just like
actually-
5 or 10
instead
inches
of our
longer than
avatars being
normal.
cartoony,
no, yeah, he's
and
doing it
instead of
up in
actually
his head.
transmitting a video, what it does is we've sort of scanned ourselves and a lot of different expressions, and we've built a computer model of sort of each of our faces and bodies and the different expressions that we make, and collapse that into a codec that then when you have the headset on your head, it can
That's cool.
it
is
sees your
very
face,
cool.
it sees your expression, and it can basically send an encoded version of what you're supposed to look like over the wire. So in addition to being photorealistic, it's also actually much more bandwidth efficient than transmitting a full video, or especially a 3D immersive video of a whole scene like this.
And it captures everything, like the flaws. Like to me,
Yes.
So were you just joking? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so
I thought Mark Zuckerberg was actually here, and I got spooked for a second.
yeah, so like after he says all that, I really want to like take Mark and just be like, "Hey, dude, like, are you fucking retarded? Genuinely. Like he says, "Oh, dude, it's actually very good with bandwidth." Like he has this stupid headset on. It's actually very good with bandwidth, and we'll be able to. It's like, Mark, this is like you spent billions of dollars. Someone on the Discord, you and someone on the Discord were saying this, but I do think this is a Hail Mary for Meta. Is that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it is. It's absolutely the metaverse is a Hail Mary because Facebook is on the path to becoming IBM, where it's slowly doing. It's megacorp, undoubtedly, and very powerful, like IBM still is. But IBM has lost relevance and is declining relevance year by year, and they're trying to make big bets on like cloud and quantum computing and blockchain, and none of that has really materialized. And
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg realizes the path that Facebook is on, where Facebook and social media has kind of become commoditized to some degree, and there are more sexy, fun, young like places. Like it's never going to be Facebook again, right?
Yeah.
And Instagram's on its way to be Facebook. So Mark is like, well, what's the next big thing? And in many ways, it is the metaverse to some. Like the concept of the metaverse is not wrong in that digital economies are becoming more and more important, and digital ecosystems are becoming more and more important. So do I buy that this could be a world like with VR and all that like people actually spend tons of time in? Totally. We spend 8 to 9 hours on our phones every day. It's not unbelievable that we go spend something on this, which is even more stimulating, but we're not there yet. And he's a total dork, and it's probably not going to be him. It might be. This technology is genuinely fantastic by the looks of it.
It's amazing. And that's the thing is like whenever people make good technology, I'm like, "Oh, that's great." But also with billions of dollars and like the smartest engineers in the world, you make this?
Yeah.
Like out of all the things, you're like, let's make your Zoom calls more awkward and you see someone's face and you think, is this dude like behind these glasses? Is he like jerking off?
Dude, can't we just have sick video games?
Yeah, what up with why didn't they make like a cool game?
I know. Like, what if we have like a literally like a just the sickest video game ever with this, please?
It's gonna be weird. This is just all this stuff is gonna do is just get young men to like stay inside more and like not socialize. Like I'm sure there's gonna be some gladiator game where you're just like fucking and killing all day. But right now we just have the Zoom calls, which yay, I'm trying to be a hater.
Listen,
I'm just calling it for what it is.
if you have social anxiety, you never have to leave your house now. It's perfect. You never have to actually go be a human being. So, all right, let's continue.
Let's go.
The subtleties of the human face, like even the flaws, that's all amazing. It makes it so much more immersive. It makes you realize that like perfection isn't the thing that leads to immersion. It's like the little subtle flaws, like freckles and like variations in color and just
wrinkles,
all stuff
asymmetry.
about noses. Yeah, asymmetry. And just the different, like the corners of the eyes, like what your eyes do when you smile, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, eyes are a huge part of it.
Can they make?
Yeah, I mean, there's all the
fucking
studies
eyes blink?
that most of communication, even when people are speaking, is not actually the words that they're saying, right? It's kind of the expression and all that. So, and we try to capture that with the kind of classical expressive avatar system that we have. That's the kind of more cartoon designed one. You can kind of put those kind of expressions on those faces as well. But there's obviously a certain realism that comes with delivering kind of this photorealistic experience that I don't know. I just think it's really magical. I mean, this gets to kind of the core of what the vision around virtual and augmented reality is, of like delivering a sense of presence as if you're there together, no matter where you actually are in the world. And I mean, this experience, I think, is a good embodiment of that, where it's like, I mean, we're in two completely different states halfway across the country, and it just like looks like you're just sitting right in front of me. It's pretty wild.
Is it?
Yeah, I can't. So. I'm almost getting emotional. It's like it feels like a totally. It's fundamentally new experience. Like for me to have this kind of conversation with loved ones,
he just has a still face.
It would just change
No,
everything.
that's the whole thing.
Maybe just to elaborate.
We
so
have
I
the
went
most
to Pittsburgh and
emotionless
went through
interviewer
the
of
whole
all
scanning
time with the
procedure,
most
which has so much
emotionless
incredible,
tech demon of all time.
technology,
And it's
so
really
software
crazy
and hardware
right now.
going on. But it is a
So
lengthy
when they're
process.
talking
So
about all
what's your
this,
vision for the future of this in terms of
like,
making this more accessible to people?
or
You know,
like
it starts off with a
whatever,
small
whatever.
number of
I'll
people
let
doing
Mark talk.
these very detailed scans, right? Which is that's the version that you did and that I did, and you know, before there were a lot of people who we've done this kind of a scan for. We probably need to kind of over collect expressions when we're doing the scanning, because we haven't figured out how much we can reduce that down to a really streamlined process, and extrapolate from the
So how did they get
scans
the
that have already
data?
been done. But you know, the goal.
Well, they've been
and we
watching
have a
you on
project
your
that's working on
Facebook
this
account for the
already,
last 15
is
years
just
and
to do
collecting
a
every piece
very
of
quick
information
scan
about
with your
you.
cell phone, where you just take your phone, kind of wave it in front of your face for a couple of minutes.
Actually,
Say a few sentences, make a bunch of expressions.
Because I do have a point about these things that I want to. This is from my engineer brain. Whenever you see this shit, always, whenever any of these big companies release like a big AI model, that's crazier than anything that you could ever do open source. The real reality of it, I'm sure it's a lot of great engineers behind it, but the real reality is that company has way more personal data than any about whatever thing that they're making. So Facebook has way more facial data than anyone else, and that's why they can do this. That's just a reality of the situation.
I mean,
Facebook, yeah. Facebook also began with the classic connect with your loved ones all over the world, and now we know what exactly the motive was. Yeah, they want to. I once had a Facebook interview, and they said that their mission a ton, which is good, but it was like they said they wanted to connect the world a lot, and it like freaked me out a little bit.
And I don't think I don't think Mark Zuckerberg in 2005 to 2009 predicted this. I mean, he didn't even predict Instagram. So, I mean, you know, the reality is that they were always trying to connect people literally through social media. That is what they were always doing, in fairness to them. And this is another extrapolation of connection. It's just not very cool.
Yeah,
it is very impressive, though.
You know, it's super impressive. Does this make you feel more connected?
No, because this isn't the problem. Like, I think my problem with the struggles we have as humanity right now are not connecting more with people online. It's connecting more with people as human beings offline. And like, if this were, hopefully there are tools in whatever way, things like this that maybe help humanize us to one another. But the reality is, like, the problems we're all having is the lack of connectivity in person. The fact that we're seeing fewer and fewer people in person, having fewer sex in real life, not VR metaverse sex with real human people. And
I'm gonna tell you one thing, dude.
What?
This was not made by anyone who's having a lot of sex. I want to tell you that was not. No one was thinking that at all.
No, they were not. This was the.
No one who's like fucking a ton is like, you know what, I'm gonna build a headset that makes it so I can sort of see you, but it's not actually you. No one. You can't make this if you're fucking a lot. You just can't.
No, this isn't made for people who have, you know, human interactions in real life. Which is fine.
Which is some of the greatest things happen from that. But the thing is the virgin chads. You want to point them in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we need more resources for them to like figure out how to talk to people in real life, and I don't really see this as a way of doing that. I mean, I really don't think people are going to use this feature that much. I think people are going to use like features that alter the way we look and alter people aren't going to be going to like be looking photorealistic. They want to look different because reality, social media, you know, reality TV, everything is making people want something that they can't have or don't have. And people are not going to be using this to look exactly the way they want. People put Photoshop on photos on Instagram of random dumb moments no one gives a fuck about. I assure you, people are gonna want to be like, actually, can you make me? I want to look kind of like me, except way hotter. Like, can you make me 2 or 3 points hotter?
Like once this technology gets like to the point where you're just like this is a real person. Eventually, like, and I said this on the Discord. Once everyone's an Instagram thought, no one is.
Yeah.
Everyone will be fooled, and no one will be at the same
Dude,
time. We're gonna. Yeah.
South Park had that amazing episode where it was basically like they're like, your girlfriend's so hot, and it was just a super, like, it was like the ugliest girl in school, except she had photoshopped an Instagram. So everyone's like, dude, my girlfriend's really hot.
Yeah.
And it would be like, and people would be like, and then there was just one girl like, she's not hot, and they were like, dude, you're such a bitch. You're so mean. She is hot. I'd be like, no, she's literally not, you know?
Dude, let's unpack like a little bit of like why he's like, what if he genuinely has like a mission here, Zuckerberg, to connect the world? Like, let's just hypothetically think he genuinely thinks this will connect the world more, like this product. What do you, because that's what they say, like, what do you think the reasonings for that would be?
Why he would do that?
Like what do you think his reasonings are that this will connect the world more?
I think the idea is that you will get to have almost a more human-like interaction with someone that you may never have gotten the opportunity to meet in person. That's probably what it, like, if I could, there's a guy in Bangladesh that I can get on one of these things. And in fairness, with this technology, you get really close to like what it looks like to have a human conversation in real life. And it is really quite stunning, but that may bridge gaps and make this person humanized. But yeah, I don't think that this is really going to get to the root of our problems by any means.
Yeah. Oh, Florian says I have to be up. Hey, what's up, Florian? I have to be up at 2 a.m. to catch you. Yeah, maybe we should do some earlier ones sometimes. But yeah, dude. So I think you're right. Like, I think that is like they're saying, okay.
Can I just keep this going so we can get farther?
Yeah.
But like, we can even mute it. I don't have to listen to all this shit, to be honest.
No, I assume we're just gonna skip a ton.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna like keep going. Keep going.
What's up, Cy? What's up, Avery?
What's up, Avery? Yeah, this shit is like literally the saddest thing of all time. I gotta be honest.
Hear it. Wait.
Oh, I don't even have the audio playing. Let's keep going.
With today's technology, I mean, you're using a Meta headset that exists. It's a product that's kind of for sale now. You can drive these with that, but the production of these scans in a very efficient way is one of the last pieces that we still need to really nail. And then obviously there's all the experiences around it. I mean, right now we're kind of sitting in a dark room, which is familiar for your podcast. But I think part of the vision for this over time is
that a little
not just having this be
I don't know.
video call. I mean, that's fine. It's cool, or it feels like it's immersive. But you can do a video call on your phone. The thing that you can do in the metaverse that is different from what you can do on a phone is like doing stuff where you're physically there together and participating in things.
You're jacking each other off.
Like
yeah, they're currently jacking.
By the way,
meetings
like this in
metaverse, they're currently
in the future.
Once
You mix, once you get mixed reality and augmented reality, we could have codec avatars like this and go into a meeting and have some people physically there and have some people show up in this photorealistic form. Superimposed on the physical environment.
This is handsome, Lex.
Stuff like that is going to be super powerful. So we got to still build out all those kind of applications and the use cases around it. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a pretty wild,
again, the first fucking use case is like you could go to a meeting and
I'm
people will be there even more than on a Zoom call. Fuck.
Virtually, I
I
think
hope that people like watching this can get a glimpse of like how incredible.
Until they can show me chopping my friend in half with a samurai sword in the metaverse, I don't want to be involved even remotely. This is stupid and lame. It's really cool technology, but use it for something cool.
It feels like they had to hit a deadline. It's great. Like the visuals, the realism's great, but it feels like they had to hit a deadline and they were like, fuck, we don't have a background. And he's like, oh, it's kind of like your podcast, how it has no background, which isn't even how his podcast is. Like, I feel like this is like kind of, I feel like they should.
Is this just for? Is this just for investors? Is this just to boost stock?
It might be. Yeah, I think it might be.
Because like there's no material value being provided by this right now other than like, hey, we have this tech, it's coming along. Like we used to do this when I ran cryptos. It's like, hey, we got an update for you. I know that it materially won't change you guys, whatever. Yeah.
Florian's like, I like it. I never saw Lex displaying this much joy and energy. Dude, Florian, you missed when we were talking about how fucking boring Lex is.
Lex is literally the most. I Florian, you missed it. I said that Lex is Lex and Zuckerberg. You have the least emotive interview of all time and the least emotive tech demon of all time. It's hilarious.
Dude, what if like, okay, I think Mark is actually doing all this because deep down, like he's like maybe like a bitch face type person where it's like he just doesn't emote well, and deep down he's on this mission. Like this is his final.
He wants to learn how to smile. This is like what if this is all?
How to smile.
What if this is all like it's like
a real boy?
Dude, can we write a children's book that's like Mark's journey to smile, and the whole book is like he had to build $1 billion demon empire, sucking the souls out of other people just to get one smile.
And then like he thought that making like photo feeds would do it. Like that'll be one chapter. It'll be like, turns out in the end, it's like turns out no matter how many billions, it won't make money. Doesn't make you smile.
No, and then the worst part is we're getting at the end of the children's book, and it's like he had to fake a genocide in the metaverse in order to crack a smile.
He had to jack off Lex Friedman on a live podcast. Like he's a victim. He's like he had to like he had to pretend like they were just having a normal conversation. It was so tragic. I really think the tech is displaying emotions accurately.
No, it is. The tech is not at fault here. It's just these two. Yeah. The tech is incredible. These two guys just have no emotion.
Which, hey, it's fine. You don't need emotion.
No. Especially if you're trying to like suck all the resources out of the world.
So I think one of the big questions is, like when you smile, how wide is your smile, and how wide do you want your smile to be?
He's so passionate about smiling.
I think getting that to be tuned on a per person basis is
you're right,
is
Jared.
going to be one of the things that we're going to need to figure out. It's like, to what extent do you want to give people control over that?
He is really smart.
Some people might try to.
He's
might prefer a version of themselves that's more emotive in their avatar.
I haven't heard him talk in years. What do you want me to say?
For example, I always get a lot of critique and shit for having like a relatively stiff expression.
Yeah,
but
oh fuck, it's working. We're being incepted. He's planting ideas. I would love at the end of it. Can we just progressively get more and more pro Facebook the entire time?
I know, like in the end, we're like, honestly, like, can we do an ad for Meta? Like,
I will jerk off Mark Zuckerberg in the metaverse.
Like in the end, we're literally like, how do we get one of these? Like, he improved. No, I think Mark improved a lot at like communicating.
Oh, he's gotten really good. He's gotten much better at speaking. He's making very coherent, fluid, good points.
It's because he's higher T now. He's working out. He's doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and by the way, I love that about him. Like Mark Zuckerberg getting ripped, like that is the coolest thing. That like him seeing him kick someone's ass. Like I gotta say, like he needs to like lay off on getting photos of him taken with like layers of sunscreen and stuff. But other than that, like big improvements.
All right. Yeah, even George Hotz became a Sucks fanboy. Well, every engineer. So Mark Zuckerberg, he's very socially intelligent, I can tell, because he knows how to win the engineers. And when you win the engineers, you get a lot. You get a lot of cultural benefits in tech.
I mean, you can tell he's socially intelligent. He scammed billions of people into like instead of interacting in person, which is healthy. He's like, spend all of your time online. He's basically destroyed socialization completely. So I think he understands social interaction quite well.
100%. Apparently they, Jihad can't be sold out. But I love how I'm sorry, I don't even care what they're talking about. But no, okay, let's continue.
I know. Listen, I've been letting it play. I feel almost bad, but I also don't care either. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, we should.
this issue where
We're
a
the
lot of-
worst reaction guys of all time. We literally turn it off. We're fast forwarding.
We're like 10 minutes in. It's like, fuck these.
I have to do an hour of this. How does anyone sit through this for an hour?
Yeah, like, did they really need to make it an hour? It has to be for investors.
How about 15 minutes?
Yeah.
At least Joe Rogan talks about aliens every 20 minutes, so it keeps us engaged. But here they're just like, the aliens don't exist. Let's talk about human interaction and Kodaks. It's like, for the love of God, give me something.
Yeah.
the other things. Just it's like you feel the sense of immersion when you're in it that doesn't quite translate to a 2D screen. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what people think.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if people could see that.
Can we go look into the
my heart is
comments
actually
say really
beating
quick?
fast now.
Yeah, let's
This
do
is
it.
super interesting. Like that such intimacy of conversation can be achieved remotely.
Wait,
It's
I
been,
can't see. What is it?
I don't do
Oh,
remote
good to see
podcasts
Lex
for
in
this
his
reason,
native
and this is like breaks all of that. This
This
is
is
just an incredible.
I gotta mute this shit again. I don't care. All right, wait. Dear God, this is amazing. Two robots in the cyber world with copied real life favorites pasted back onto them. Lex always bringing the odds.
Yeah, they're just getting like destroyed in the comments. The comments is where the truth is. Like, Mark actually looks way more human than normal in the metaverse.
Oh
No, his
God,
metaverse thing looks really good. Like his
Yeah.
avatar.
I feel like I'm watching Marco from billionaire to trillionaire. Maybe. I mean, again, if the Hail Mary works out, he'll make $1 trillion. I guarantee
How
it.
could this possibly be? But what is $1 trillion when your industry tech like destroys the dollar?
This
like-
is insane, Lex. You are truly trend setting. Oh, shut the fuck up.
When people make comments like that, are they like talking to Lex?
No, they're
Or are
just
they
bots.
Yeah,
just
they're probably
bots.
bots.
And by bot,
some-
they might be a real human being. It's just that most people are NPCs. So that's just an NPC.
I feel super. I mean, I don't really comment on anything, but I'll feel super
No,
weird. Just like,
yeah.
yeah, being like, "Hey, Lex, like, dude, really like where you're going with."
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know him.
I know. I mean, like, way to go, buddy. Like, I'm proud of you. It's like, oh, okay. What are you, my dad? Like, we don't know each other. All right.
By the way, I like when people give comments on my videos. I
I
like
know.
that. Like
all
how
of
they
you
do
are
it.
different.
But it's like on these videos where people are so personal, they're like, Lex, like Lexi baby, like, dude, I love this new video you got, buddy.
I know. I mean, all right. Let's get back into some of
Yeah,
this. Let's see what they're talking about now.
Stream product yet, but we just we'll keep tuning it and keep getting more scans in there and keep and kind of rolling it out into more of the features. But
All right, so they're not saying anything new. They've been saying the same fucking shit already for
They're like, yeah, we're
13
gonna get more
minutes.
features.
we're doing scan more Kodaks. We're actually gonna have a use case for it. Can you please tell me something like we're gonna use this to like spy on Russia or something? Give me something juicy.
Do they have like a little chapter thing on this? Like, I think that'd be a good, like, in the comments. or
Quest
something.
3. What is Quest 3?
Oh yeah, Quest 3 is the game. This is a good part. This is gonna
All
be
right,
good.
all right. Let's go.
3 that's coming out. I've gotten a chance to try that too. That's awesome. So how'd you pull off the mixed? So it's not just virtual reality; it's mixed reality.
yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be the first mainstream mixed reality device. I mean, obviously we shipped Quest Pro last year, but it was $1,500. And part of what I'm super proud of is we try to innovate not just on pushing the state of the art and delivering new capabilities, but making it so it can be available to everyone. And we have this it's coming out at $500. And,
That's all that
in
means.
in
is
some
this-
ways, I think the
there's
mixed
a
reality is
certain
actually
type
better
of
in Quest
people
3
that
than
will
it
be
was
losing videos.
than what we're using right now in Quest
Being
Pro.
real.
So, and I'm really proud of the team for being able
Not
to
me.
deliver that kind of
Oh, wait,
innovation
what
and
did you
get
think
it
I
out.
was
But
saying?
some of this is
I didn't
just,
think anything.
software you tune over time and get to be better. Part of it is you put together a product and you figure out what are the bottlenecks in terms of making it a good experience. So we got the resolution for the mixed reality cameras and sensors to be multiple times better in Quest 3, and we just figured that made a very big
It's
difference
fucking
when we saw the
creeping me out,
experience that we were able
actually.
to put
Dude,
together
like
for Quest
it's like
Pro.
The Uncanny
Um,
Valley, it's freaky, right? Like all these things, like all these new headsets and these VR shit, these gadgets these company makes. Whenever I see it, I'm like, this is just more fucking. Black Friday is gonna suck. And now every day in San Francisco is Black Friday. So, but like, it's like, like what? I guess it's fun. I guess it's fun. Maybe I'm being a killjoy
I don't know.
here.
It's a dark reality. Oh, it's
I
gonna be
love,
Pokemon. People are gonna be collecting virtual girlfriends like Pokemon now.
dude. It's gonna be like the virtual girlfriend thing is gonna get intense with this.
It's
It's
gonna be
gonna get
bad.
intense.
It's
How
gonna
about
be,
that? You gonna get your virtual girlfriend?
dude. It makes me so upset. I mean, we already are seeing declining sacks, declining birth rates across the globe, more and more people getting older in like the Asian countries. I mean, this is
Yeah.
going to absolutely destroy all. Like there will be, if like there's gonna be like 1% of people actually having sex with real people inside of like 15 years at this point.
And it'll be Lex and Mark
It's
just
gonna be Lex and
constantly
Mark.
fucking
This is what they did to distract everyone,
from
and
the
maybe
secret love
Elon. In
affair.
fairness.
Yeah, like them in a little circle jerk. That's what this whole thing's for.
Well, so
No
everyone,
one's
so
gonna be fucking anymore.
they can finally be together because everyone will have their headsets on, so that no one will notice when they're just out in public, just going to town on one another.
There
Uh,
might be like so many people might have headsets on that you can like steal way easier.
is Elon right about what, Dom?
In general, Dom, because I can't say any man's just right.
Yeah, that doesn't. It's yeah. All right. In the meantime,
But
let's
by
see what.
being anchored to and being able to see the physical world around you, it's like it just feels so much safer and more secure. And I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy that too. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's the
really excited to
illusion of
see how people
safety.
use it. But yeah, Quest 3 coming out later
How
this
fucking
fall.
safe it is! You're walking
Yeah,
around, you
and
see
I
a
got to
Pokemon in the
experience it
middle
with
of
the
the
other people
street.
sitting
You're
around,
like,
and there's a
oh
lot of
wow!
furniture, and so you get to see
No, you
that
don't have to
furniture,
say
you get to see
sorry,
those
Dom.
people,
It's okay.
and you get to see those people like enjoy the ridiculousness of you like swinging your arms. I mean, presumably they're friends of yours, even if they make fun of you. There's a lot of love behind that, and that I got to experience that. So that's
Q,
a really
smile.
fundamentally different experience than just pure VR with like the zombies coming out of walls and
Whenever
Yeah,
they
it's
go
like someone
back to him,
shooting at you and you hide behind your real couch.
What was that? What was that?
whenever they go back to them in real life, it's such a like bizarre cut. It's like just a fucking nerd in a fucking room with fucking glasses.
Dude, it's just two nerds.
I get it, dude.
Dude,
I'm
Louis
one of them.
C.K. Louis C.K. had a fair point. America hates nerds.
They do, but the nerds take
Why
over
has
the
Lex
world.
why has Lex of course nerds have always been in charge, but why is Lex Friedman so popular if people hate nerds?
Well, Lex Friedman, I feel like he's one of those people. They're popular because, like, not being a hater on YouTube at all. YouTube, give me those YouTube bucks, okay? But like, some people are very good for feeds. Some people are very good.
Yeah.
And also, he has access to a lot of really interesting people to talk to.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
The podcast is generally okay. I think he's not like he's weird. I get weird vibes from him. I don't know if I want to be like buddies with him or anything. About the idea that one of the greatest threats is the human population has the potential to crash in a few generations due to a fertility slump. Yeah, dude. Elon is right about that. People need
Dude,
to be
of
fucking more.
course these two sexless people would be the ones that are so pumped about this. That's what I'm sitting here thinking. I'm like, can you possibly imagine either of them having sex?
I don't want to imagine any guy fucking, but like,
I understand, but you know what I'm trying to
I
get
know what
at
you're
here.
saying. I know what you're saying.
I mean, like literally.
No, like when I see, like you see, like they're pumped because they're like, yeah, we don't get to fucking talk to girls anymore. Like they're like, this
Oh.
is great. Like, and everyone else is like, guys, this sucks.
Oh man,
If
it's
you
really
wanna
starting to
see
bum me out.
If you want to see people's eyes, you will have to wear a headset to remove their headset and finally see their eyes again. Yeah, there's gonna be an epidemic of like not being able to actually see people's faces and understand. There's gonna be little kids that have only see VR faces of their parents. They're like, or they've seen their dad look like fucking in these googly eyes, like he's seen them like that,
Yeah.
or they've seen them.
Mask cover your eye, your mouth and nose, and now we're gonna have headsets and you won't even know what people's ears look like. Those are covered too.
You know what's a good scheme when all this stuff really hits critical mass is to have a like human interaction club where you just like sign up for a thing where you just get like touch and FaceTime and you just get Yeah, that could get hairy very quickly, obviously.
Yeah.
But,
No, we're going to have like in a high school like the no phone club, and it's going to be like, can you believe that like there's like a group of people on campus that like every Friday for 30 minutes they hang out without a headset on.
yeah.
All right, let's get back into this.
In order to
Yeah,
It
duck
is
the
Plato's
fire.
cave.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's incredible how it's all integrated.
Do they talk
but
about
also,
Quest
like,
for
subtle stuff like
20
in a
minutes?
room
Fuck.
with no windows, you can add windows to it.
Can we skip past Quest? I literally don't care at all. It's a video
Fuck
game.
Mark Zuckerberg, honestly.
Dude, what a fuck. We're at a reaction video and we hate both of the people in the reaction video. How are we supposed to make it through this whole thing?
I'm super impressed by Facebook, though, by the way.
Oh, I should say, no, Marcus genuinely was a hero of mine. I don't really care anymore, but like, one of the most remarkably impressive entrepreneurs of our era, and to his credit. And this is insane technology. He's done incredible things.
When I saw Social Network when I was like 14 or whatever, I was like, that's it.
It is. It's super legit. Why do they keep going back to the codex? Is that all they have? Is just these like?
Well, yeah. Do they talk about like cool stuff?
The nature of reality.
Yeah, let's
go to that.
Holy
all right.
Shit. All right. What's their internal world?
Forgetting that you're not real. Like this really. So
well, I am
it's novel.
This is just an avatar version of me. But
that's a deep philosophical question. Yes.
But here's some of the. So I put this on this morning, and I was like, all right, like, it's like, okay, so my hair is a little shorter in this than my physical hair is right now. I probably need to go get a haircut.
Sure.
And I did happen to shave this.
Meanwhile,
morning,
his wife's like, I haven't fucking.
I could still have this photorealistic avatar that is more cleanly shaven, right? Even if I'm, a few days in.
He's like
physically. So I do think that they're going to start to be these subtle questions that seep in where the avatar is realistic in the sense of this is kind of what you looked like at the time of capture, but it's not necessarily temporally accurate to exactly what you look like in this moment. And I think that there are going to end up being a bunch of questions that come from that over time that I think are going to be fascinating too.
You mean just like the nature of identity of who we are? Are we the people? You know how people do like summer beach body? People will be for the scan. They'll try to lose some weight and look their best and sexiest with the nice hair and everything like that. I mean, it does raise the question of, if a lot of people interacting with the digital.
Mark is just slow jerking. Come under the table.
The entity driving the avatar or the avatar?
They say,
I think our physical bodies also fluctuate and change over time too. So I think there's a similar question of like, which version of that are we? Right? There's like the. I mean, it's interesting identity question because
dude, these guys can't be in charge of shit. Please, someone get them out of it. God,
their question, like they genuinely think this technology will change the fabric of like reality and how we perceive reality. Like, you're not God, bro. We were just saying how like Mark's cool. Like, dude, this is creepy talk. The fact your mind even gets here, you're not gonna change reality. It's like a neat little trick. It's cool. Like, I like the fact that it's very realistic.
What we're gonna need to change reality is we're gonna need a full headset that plugs in to like, your spinal cord or something, and like literally makes it like a fully immersive experience where you don't like. My problem with all this shit is like, unless you have a gigantic warehouse where you can free roam safely, none of this, you can't really do anything that cool unless you're able to actually create a version of one of these headsets that plugs into your motor function and you go into like almost like a sleep state where you're acting in real life in this game, and then you have to go like digitally turn it off, and then it's like removed from you and it like disconnects you from the virtual world. That is a case where it may be like, oh, I don't know if I'm real. But when you're literally, I go like, I do this and I'm in a fake room and I go, fuck, and I slam my hand against the real table while I'm in a fucking fake headset talking to you, I'm reminded of the fact that, oh, there actually is a real world.
Also, like, I've seen this so many fucking times with like tech people where it's like, You like I just want to be very clear to anyone doing AI or anything right now, you're not gonna ever change the world. I promise you. The world is like good. And like all this stuff, even Facebook, like these technologies, like they don't actually change the forms of things. Like Dom Wyatt just talked about Plato's cave. That's all about talking about the form of like the purest form of things. Like what is the purest form? Nothing you will do in technology will change this actual world. Like it'll make people fucking abuse different things, right? And do bad things to each other. People can abuse technology. Um, yeah, like people can abuse OnlyFans, and it can fucking. But it's like the world is the same. That's just my opinion. But
Well, I mean, the world is
yeah,
constantly changing to some degree with like
to some
literal,
degree, yeah.
of course, but like, the reality is with human beings from an evolutionary standpoint, unless you're changing our DNA aggressively, like we are the problem all of us are running into, and I know we've talked about this ad nauseum at this point, is that we are monkey people who, until several thousand years ago, and only several thousand years ago, we literally lived like essentially what we would consider barbarians, with fires, very primitive tools, very small civilizations, if civilizations at all. Like maybe 11,000 years ago, you like not even really. There's now sites that have been found where there's like clearly like stone structures where people, go Blacky Teppy and all that shit that Joe Rogan fucking people talk about or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, maybe we go back 11,000 years, but 11,000 years is nothing. Human beings have been around for like maybe not in our fully evolved state, but 2 million years is like the earliest, man ape combinations. And our biology, like how we interact as people, has stayed the same for 100,000 years now. That
100%.
what's evolved is our technology, but our minds are not made to interact with these technologies. So unless we have a way to change how our minds biologically interact with all of this stimulus, nothing. We're just struggling to understand. Like our brain isn't meant to even have this conversation that we're having right now.
And when they talk about like, and what I mean by the world doesn't change, it's like when they're talking about how this is going to change the way people perceive reality and things like that. The reality is it's like that's such a that has nothing to do with the nature of anything. Like that has to do with social bonds, how people react to stimulus and trauma. Like that's all in the psychological level. And the psychological manipulation, as Jack you've mentioned, is Facebook's fucking territory. And I think this is just another psychological operation on the population, where they're just like, how can we actually get these? I don't think they speak in this language, but can we actually get these retards to like think that like avatars are like people? Um, but isn't it a natural human evolution process? Yeah. Which part?
Yeah, human beings are evolving, but it takes us thousands of years to change, if that at all, if not hundreds of thousands of years. So like Mark being like, this is going to change reality or whatever. It's like, it's not going to change reality unless you can literally change the genetics and biology of humans, which the only thing that's so far that can change that is CRISPR and maybe, but like that's arguable, and evolution.
The only reality this is ever gonna change is the reality that he needs to just like kiss his wife in the morning instead of putting on the headset.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just playing around with him. But he's also fucking creepy as shit. So
Yeah. Do we have to continue this nature of reality conversation?
please.
It's like, I don't know, it's like weight fluctuates or things like that. It's like I think most people don't tend to think of themselves as the well, I don't know. It's an interesting psychological question. Some people, maybe a lot of people do think about themselves as the kind of worst version, but but I think a lot of people probably think about themselves as the best version, and and then it's like what you are on a day-to-day basis doesn't necessarily map to either of those. So I think that's there will definitely be a bunch of social scientists and folks will have to, and psychologists are really, there's going to be a lot to understand about how our perception of ourselves and others is shifted from this.
Dude, imagine you
Well,
go
this
into
might be a
therapy
bit
and
of
they're like,
a
put on this VR
complicated
headset
and
and you
dark
see your
question, but
fucking
one of the
therapist's
first
face like,
feelings I had
Right
experiencing
next
this
to you.
is I would love to talk to loved ones. And the next question I have is I would love to talk to people who are no longer here
Oh
that are loved
fuck that!
ones.
No,
there we
Like if you
go.
no,
look into the
no,
future,
no.
is
They
that something you
they
think about
genuinely,
when
they're
people
gonna think
pass
they could bring
away,
back
but they
people.
could still exist in the
God,
metaverse? You could still
you're
have,
It's the
fuck.
same
talk
shit.
to your
This is
father,
end of
talk to your
Rome shit.
grandfather
People
and
start thinking
grandmother
you can
and
fucking
mother
start
once they pass
bringing
away.
people back.
The
The
I just
degeneracy.
like I don't think it's held like fuck. You know, I think about my father who, you know, he says, you know, I always tell him, Jack, I just, you know how many days I wish I could pick up the phone and call my mom, you know? And it's like that's
Yeah,
what,
yeah,
but the reality is she's no longer with us. She's
yeah,
gone, you know?
yeah.
And I don't know if putting an AI model together and allowing my dad to call her and fake and like is that my argument was that that might be more traumatic for the natural grieving process of fucking reality than, oh, you know what, you can call up anyone who's ever died, so now people are like repressing.
100%.
I think people will just repress, like we constantly use technology to repress our actual human desires. It's the problem with OnlyFans or porn or gaming or whatever. It's like we're repressing the fact that we have actual desires, whether it's to be more attractive, to be more socially accepted, to have a better job or whatever. Now we're going to repress the fact that our loved ones are dead.
And that's what I'm saying, where it's like, this isn't changing the world, it's changing our fucking psychology. But it's your choice too. Buying this fucking thing. Where it's like if there's a natural grievance process, there's a natural human interaction development process you need to have as a child. All these things are just gonna make little like autistic robots. I think the real reason why they're doing this, I think they want to have like an autist army.
Dude,
Like
imagine children being like, "Daddy, but grandma's not really dead. I talked to her yesterday." Like,
right,
imagine
exactly.
that
Yeah,
happening with
yeah,
your children being like, "Dad, don't worry. You're going to die, but I'll still be able to hang out with you whenever." And you're like, "Oh my god, my kid's fucked." Like, what?
And a lot of your dreams and nightmares are like you kind of like your subconscious reconciling with images like in the world. And what about the image of seeing your like undead like grandmother like over and over and over again in your life? Will your subconscious be able to handle that? Like with like is that something you'll be able to deal with?
Dude, I don't think I mean, listen, I dread the day that I lose, you know, anyone that one of my family members. I call my mom every day, I call my dad as you know every couple of days, and it's like, you know, but like I don't think that being able to talk to them again and get advice and have them comfort me is going to be healthy for my psyche as an adult. I think that will cause me to regress like back. What if you could put a headset on, and you know how many people are avoiding growing the fuck? Most human beings avoid the reality of growing up. So imagine now you can put on a headset and it's like, "Mommy, Daddy, it's back to when you were 4," and they're petting you on the head and they're like, "Hey, Jack, get in bed, sweetheart. I'll read a book to you."
Oh, dude.
And mom and dad
I
are
didn't think of
dead
that.
and you're fucking 65 and you're pretending to be a little 4-year-old rocking in your fucking bed wearing one of these headsets. It's like, look at how fucked people are with Bumble.
Dude,
What do you think's gonna happen when you can recreate your dead mom?
And also, I can very much imagine this is getting into a dark place, but let's say there's some people with some fantasies that will put them in prison if they follow through with it, and the government's like, "Hey, maybe we'll just put these guys in a virtual reality dungeon where they get to, you know, do stuff to people that would put them in jail, but they could just do it in their VR world, and then we'll just keep them in that little bubble."
Dude, look what Florian just said. You guys suck.
wait.
I wish that. Go ahead.
What did he say? You guys suck. I wish this technology was already mature to fine tune the schemology host to my liking.
Fuck. Our own fans are gonna replace us with AI inside of 6 months. Fuck.
That's a build stream I should do. I want to do a build. What do you guys think about this? I do a build stream. Someone mentioned this in the Discord where I fucking clone myself. I try to like get images of myself. I try to like build like some sort of AI model to clone myself, and then I will do stuff to it. No, just kidding.
Oh god, you're gonna fuck yourself in the metaverse.
On a live stream, just like The title is this is as soon as YouTube just like fully cancels me for whatever reason, which is obvious. My send off stream is just the title's just me fucking myself,
I
and
fuck myself in the metaverse.
and the me fucking myself in the metaverse, and it's like it's my final goodbye to fucking YouTube. I'm like, okay, YouTube, it's been great, but I'm just gonna fuck myself.
Yeah, dude, I'd be like, no, literally, you're like, and for my final act, I'm finally going to evolve into my final form and fuck myself. And it's just like, it's just you're. Uh-oh. Did I die or did Jared die? Uh-oh. Dude, Mark Zuckerberg took us out. Am I still here, Art? Someone responds. Is this Mark Zuckerberg? If Mark Zuckerberg walks behind me right now? Oh, guys. Dude, guys, Mark Zuckerberg, he took Jared out. Actually, what if Jared went offline to go fuck himself in real life? I'm telling you right now, this is exactly what Mark Zuckerberg wanted. All right, we're going to continue this while Jared's gone. Oh, fucking Christ.
Power of that experience is one of the first things my mind jumped to, because it's like, this is so real.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of norms and things that people have to figure out around that. There's probably some balance where, if someone has lost a loved one and is grieving, there may be ways in which, being able to interact or relive certain memories could be helpful, but then there's also probably an extent to which it could become unhealthy.
Yeah, Florian, I'm literally going to wake up from the Matrix. The time that Jared slept on that couch behind me, that was just me getting plugged in. I've been in the Matrix the entire time. Jared's not real. Mark Zuckerberg is fucking annoying. Dude, Lex Friedman doesn't want to have a conversation with another living soul. He wants to load himself up and talk to only dead people for the rest of time. And maybe we can all leave Mark Zuckerberg and Lex Friedman to be the two people in the metaverse. Is that a possibility? Can we just upload their collective consciousness, to the metaverse and leave just the two of them there? God. All right, we got to read what Dom said. Okay, beating my own drum here, but a little more philosophy of technology for you. This stands in direct contrast to the human enhancer's conviction we must constantly improve and better ourselves. This anti-enhancement sentiment is echoed by Cass. The best flourishing human life is appreciative of the fact that we are born, age, replace ourselves, decline, and die, and know it. To pursue human enhancement is precisely to pursue perfectionism. This is problematic because at root it exhibits a failure to properly appreciate and respect the giftedness of the world. You are.
Okay. I just want to say I was contacted by the deep state. I need to correct my behavior, and I'm sorry.
Hey. You don't have to make up such a silly excuse. We know that you just got way too flustered with the idea of fucking yourself, and you had to go take a breather. It's okay.
Yeah, I had to correct myself. I apologize. I said all the wrong things.
I needed a Jared.exe file to upload. God.
What did I miss? Is everything okay?
I've concluded that Lex Friedman doesn't want to have any conversations with living people anymore. He only wants to talk to dead people, and that's basically what I came to. And I think Mark Zuckerberg is responding to the question. He probably realizes, like, yeah, it's. I think he's kind of getting at, like, yeah, it's probably actually not the healthiest for people to talk to dead ones. There's probably a way to go about it where it's healthy.
Yeah, let's actually see. I'm curious. How the fuck do you even respond to that? Because I would have to check someone who said that.
Yeah, let's see.
And I mean, I'm not an expert in that, so I think we'd have to
Really?
study that and understand it in more detail. We have, a fair amount of experience with how to handle death and identity and people's digital content through social media already, unfortunately, right? Where there's, unfortunately, people who use our services die every day, and their families, often want to have access to their profiles, and we have whole protocols that we go through where there are certain parts of it that that we try to memorialize, so that way the family can get access to it, so that way the account doesn't just go away immediately. But then there are other things that are important kind of private things that person has, like we're not going to give the family access to someone's messages, for example. So yeah, I think that there's some best practices, I think, from the current digital world that will carry over, but yeah, I think that this will enable some different things. Another version of this is how this intersects with AIs, right? Because
yeah, of course. You're not going to have that actually talk to real people. I do want to respond to Dom quickly in the chat. He had this whole kind of whimsical, waxing poetic and sharing some interesting philosophy. I largely agree. I think, the pursuit of perfectionism is silly. Human beings are inherently imperfect creatures. None of us are perfect. And, it's our own. I'm reading this great book right now that I was telling Jared about the other day. And part of what they argue is that, most of our suffering comes from the fact that we're looking at differences rather than looking at similarities. And the similarities between all people is that we are inherently imperfect. We have, fear, anxiety, worries, concerns, pains, struggles, whatever. And it is recognizing and accepting our imperfection, which truly leads to happiness, in my opinion. And I think that this constant pursuit for finding like a better form, you can get over grief even more if you can talk to your dead mom just one more time and she tells you it's all okay. And then you watch that same video every single day when you wake up and when you go to bed. And it's like, I just don't think there is perfect.
Also, like, I think that like a lot of that is just accepting who you authentically are and like what your real life story is. And this obsession with like images and like, oh, like I gotta like be like this person and like I have my persona in real life, which is they're talking about they should read Jung. I think it would help the Facebook office because like they talk about this idea, or he talks about this idea of persona and the psychology around that a lot. And it's like the consequences of that is the more you cling to your persona, the more you're gonna develop your shadow. When you look at someone else, because you're getting so much feedback from them looking at your persona, when you look at people, you're going to be sort of judging them based on their personas, which is just going to be a reflection of your shadow. So it's good to like, it's also good to look at yourself a certain way, but I think it's really good to like look at the world and not be too judgy. Let's go judge these fucking people.
All right, on that quick, these guys are fucking dorks. Do they even have sex?
Do they get boners? I remember reading the chat said that.
Yeah, I do want to say that, like, on that point, I think it's important to condition, and this is something that you and I talk about. We are very hyperbolistic because it's fun and we like to make fun of people, but like, it's just everyone's trying to figure it out. Even these two dorks on screen, and Jared and I are just a bunch of fucking guys on the internet talking out of our ass. So keep that in mind always. Yeah, but definitely don't you fucking dare clone me, guys. If you clone me and Zuckerberg me out of this podcast, I am going to be pissed.
I thought when I came back, there's just going to be like a Jared fucking clone. And I'm like, wait, like I can't actually get back on. And you're just naturally talking to the way cooler version of me.
And then you just get one text, I win from me, and then you're blocked forever.
Can't get into any of my accounts. I'm just like,
I just turn to the camera and I go, and here's the story of how I took Jared over.
People with sucky parents can have a good parent AI that tells them they're proud of them. Yeah, but then you're probably going to get a feedback loop where the child is teaching the AI to do certain things, and then you have kids parenting themselves with your parent AI.
I hate to be so doom and gloom, but I really do think all the when you have when you have the possibility for instant gratification, which is what AI is allowing for, instantly produce an image that I want, or whatever that I want, my mom telling me that she loves me, whatever, that human beings we have the worst control over our own desires and impulses than any other point in history. And so the idea that we're going to use this technology for good, we can't even use cell phones for good to make phone calls to people.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we're going to use this for good. I think we're going to use this to repress our own problems and desires and spiral even more into oblivion. And by the way, I want to say a hopeful point, which is that the world will be fine. Because all of us will die. The Earth, all human beings will probably die at some point, and the Earth will reset, and then another 100 million years go by, and then the lizard people take over, and they're like, and then they find like remnants of Jared and I's podcast on like a disc, and they're like, "What is this? Is this from aliens? Is this
They're
us?"
calling me gay and retarded. I don't understand.
What does this mean? What is it? Gay retard?
What is it? Yeah, no, like I feel like one conversation we had on the podcast or on the stream yesterday was this idea of social impact businesses and how they often are just like this narcissistic like retelling of your trauma as you try to destroy the world with your technology. And I feel like people don't often see like technology is like just what it is. Like they're making technology here. You can use it for good or bad. It's neutral. I'm being real about that. Like dynamite. Yeah. People use dynamite to build buildings. Okay, like dynamite isn't just used to kill, right? And the same thing. Like, hey, I'm sure there's a use of a nuke that isn't just killing. Like this, I don't know. It can get into the gray area, but the reality is technology is neutral. And when we talk about the result of technology, it's really like the decisions of the men that have built these things. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like how are they gonna use it? Are they gonna use it to fucking try to make a ton of little games to get your kids addicted and make fucking AI girlfriends keep everyone in their little dungeons?
Yeah.
You know.
Dom has a good point. He says, but why are we here? In my honest opinion, it doesn't feel all that bad. And in many ways, it isn't all bad because and this is something that I think it's always important. Jared and I get to do this and get to interact with all of you because of live streaming technology and because to have Discord and all the resources we're using to build Schemology and Jared's podcast and the streams he does. That's really awesome. And he's getting to connect with all of you. And we've had a blast, getting to do this. But like, also, there's a lot of bad things that are happening. But, things are more nuanced than it just being totally bad or totally good. And I know we harp on the bad a lot, so I hate to be too cynical, and I appreciate you calling us out, Dom.
Well, the reality is like I'm gonna push back on that a little bit, where it's like I actually when we say certain like negative doomer like things, we're really just calling out reality, and like I think there's a difference between being super cynical, having a cynical orientation, and just saying shit for what it is. It's like we're seeing a flood and we're like, hey guys, there's a flood that's going to kill us all. I don't think that's very cynical. I think it's more so like, okay, we're calling out what it is and how are we going to take the steps to like, with our optimism to like actually build out of it. But the reality is this shit is not good. The reality is depression rates are up. The reality is more young men are killing themselves and getting withdrawn. Less people are eloping, divorce rates, like divorce courts, like like there's a ton.
And on the flip side, there is technically less violence than ever before. In some ways,
less testosterone.
There's more food. Yeah, well, there's more access to food. There's
100%.
There's more civilization. There's more access to poison food. In fairness, that is by again the only one of the only podcasts that I listen to is Tim Dillon, and he had this hilarious segment where an immigrant family, like, how like there's all these mass migration to New York, and there's all the shelters overflowing with immigrants from Latin America and wherever else they're coming from, and there was literally an immigrant being interviewed that was like, the food here is terrible in these shelters. They literally escaped the worst countries, or like just horrible conditions, to fled and crossed terrible conditions to come here, and they're like, dude, the food's this is terrible.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
if
funny,
the illegal immigrants are complaining about our food, we are so fucked.
Yeah, there's also like this thing where it's like, there's this one video I thought was so fucking funny where this guy was giving this homeless guy food, and the homeless guy was like, "What the fuck? This is like a fucking, like, what is it? This isn't even like good." There's also a Seinfeld sketch. Remember that one where they
Yes.
give the homeless guy the fucking like bottom of the muffins? And he's like, "This is fucking dog shit."
Yeah.
All right, what do these jabronis have to say?
Okay. All right. Let's keep going.
The things that we're really focused on is, we want we want the world to evolve in a way where there isn't like a single AI super intelligence, but where a lot of people are empowered by having AI tools to do their jobs and make their lives better. And if you're a creator, right, and if you run a podcast like you do, then you have a big community of people who are super interested to talk to you. I know you'd love to.
Oh,
cultivate
God
that
damn
community.
it.
You interact with
God,
people outside of the
God
podcast.
damn it. Now we're going to. So this
Oh
is what
my
we're talking
God.
about. Jared actually is going to code it. He's going to replace me with an AI bot, and you're not going to get to talk to me. You're going to get to talk to. Yeah, guys, listen, there's nuance in the world. And did I tell you about the time my mom made cookies for me when I was a kid
Listen,
and all sorts? Oh,
This
no.
is Schemology podcast, right? So let's talk about the scheme here.
That's
so the
true.
reason why Jack and I just knew what the fuck he's talking about is because we're also schemers, okay? So what he's saying is your influencers will be able to copy their presence using this AI, so people will be able to engage with the influencer at all times at a high level of human connection. And now we get to see why they're talking about human connection and not. It's not about progressing the world further through making human connection better. It's about making human connection
Irrelevant.
distilling it, and making it shitty and making a copy version of it and making it it's just a supply and demand issue.
He's literally describing you being able to wake up every morning and talk to Ashton Kutcher, and Ashton be like,
Exactly.
yeah, dude, you're fucking great. I love you. In fact, I think you're hot. If I wasn't dating Mia, I would definitely date you, sweetheart. Don't worry about it.
And when everyone's validated, no one is.
No one is. God,
Exactly. It's like,
why do we have to yell from a mountaintop every couple of weeks that just like external validation is the path to ruin? I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
100%. This it's more this instant gratification thing. I've looked in my life. Most times I felt like I needed validation more from the outside world. The less I could control my fucking impulses. The more it was harder for me to take my cold shower in the morning, or harder for me to do whatever discipline thing I'm doing. The more I'm like, I need to go watch my thing that I have to watch while I eat this food. I need to like eat this food that's super crunchy and salty. It just destroys your discipline.
Yeah.
Turns you into a little bitch.
Yeah. Oh God. This is what a dark reality. He literally started talking for
at
18
this fucking
seconds,
guy.
and Jared and I were already like, "Oh no, oh no." He's
Let's
trying to be
hear
like,
what he has to say. Maybe.
Lex, wouldn't it be great if you could talk to every single one of your fans personally?
Oh, God.
as well.
Good night, Florian.
I mean, there's way more demand
Oh,
both
see
to
you, Florian.
interact with you, and I'm sure you'd love to interact with the community more, but you just are limited by the number of hours in the day. So, at some point, I think making it so that you could build an AI version of yourself that could interact with people, not after you die, but while you're here to help.
No. I assure you,
help
after
people
you
kind of
die.
fulfill this desire to interact with you and your desire to build a community. And there's
We're going to kill
lot
you.
of
And we're going to
interesting
use
questions
you to
around
interact with
that.
people for
And,
us.
that's obviously, it's not just in the metaverse.
Oh,
I think
fuck.
we'd want to make that work across all the messaging
Wait,
platforms,
dude.
WhatsApp,
This is
and Messenger, and Instagram Direct.
they're
But
gonna because really think about it. How many people physically see these top influencers like the Tates and people like this? They could legitimately just kill one of them and just make them evergreen. Like
Yes.
eventually, they could just they could be like, "Hey, we'll just own your like asset. We'll own you as an IP."
Totally.
Like,
I would
it's like
love
it-
I would love if just all of a sudden just like a rope just gets around his metaverse neck, and he's like, and Mark Zuckerberg's just like, yeah, I own you now, bitch. But don't worry, You're going to be here. In fact, you're going to be talking to more people than you've ever talked before, Lex. Just sleep tight, brother.
It's like you're gonna be here forever.
You can never leave.
Dude. Like, and he's saying this, and it doesn't seem like he's thinking about what we're saying. I'm just being sure. It doesn't seem like he's thought. Maybe he's thought about it. Maybe this is just. It'd be bad for him to say the negative part because he's doing PR.
I don't know. I just sometimes I wonder if, I've listened to Lex talk enough times to be like, I can never tell if people are like, he's so smart and coherent. And I'm like, is he? Is he? I don't know.
There's a thing in tech where people will often mistake someone. I've seen this a ton. That's why I try to like not be like this, but because someone's super autistic seeming, they'll be like, this guy's a fucking genius. Like people will like the most weird socially withdrawn guy in the room who's like in like a corner, like they're like, that listen, this guy, he knows some shit we don't know. Let's give him the fucking keys to the nukes. Like I've seen that so many times. And by the way, they're never smart.
That's what I'm saying. I just like I've heard like the thing is, he's as a tech guy, I've heard him talk about like blockchain and crypto and whatever. And I'm not saying I'm a genius by any means. That's not what I'm getting at here. But I mean like, he's talking and Joe Rogan's one be like, have you ever talked to fucking, Lex Friedman? He's like one of the smartest guys I know. And Joe Rogan is an expert at comedy and jujitsu. He's not an expert in AI and blockchain and whatever. And it's kind of goes to the point of like he's good at talking and sounding like an expert, or he's really smart. I don't know. I'm unclear. I'm unclear at this point.
I think he just sounds autistic personally. I think people that like sound autistic, they seem smart.
He's definitely not dumb.
He's not dumb, yeah. I don't know if he's dumb. I actually don't want to make any claims. I don't know.
I'm unbiased. I can't ever tell. Like, there's people you talk to, you listen to, and you go, oh, that person's really fucking smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just the way their brain works, you can hear like they're putting thoughts together. They're making you think about things you've never thought before. I've listened to him enough times and be like, he's never said anything that I go, I've never thought about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just like I'm perplexed by intelligence of people who make me think about things I've never thought about. And you should be able to even if you're, because that's not, again, I'm not a genius.
Yeah. I feel like whenever I see someone who's super intelligent, there's always this, there's always a balance of, are they intelligent from book learning versus life experience, and like constantly getting more life experience and doing more shit. And I feel like often I'm like, the most smart people are the people that have that perfect balance of like, this dude's done a lot of stuff and he's also just like very educated. And I don't really get that Lex vibe.
Yeah.
I think Lex is smart, but now he's sounding so smart that people are beginning to not take him seriously. I don't watch him enough to really know, honestly.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't have enough pattern matching to be able to like to go deep, but I'll take your word for it here because it seems like you've got it. What are your thoughts? But let's go back to this question of what are your thoughts on potentially super long living biotech billionaires, like 120 years? Listen, 120 years isn't like, my grandfather is 88, right? And he's doing fantastic. There's, God willing, he's gonna make it another however long he's got in him. Maybe he can make it to push the limits, get to like, the big triple digits. 20 more years. What is 20 more years going to do for him? If you're a tech demon that's like sucking resources out of the world, possibly another 20 years you can do a lot of damage. But I don't think 20 years is actually that long enough in the scheme of things to be that much of a difference. And everything's going to come back to whether or not your mind can survive. Because it's like, maybe we can make people... We have very little understanding of the human brain relative to the human body. So I believe that we'll be able to make our bodies live longer. But most people's brains deteriorate. So it's like, what do we do about that?
Well, also your body... If you're able to fix a lot of your regenerative cells. You'll be able to get your brain to avoid Alzheimer's and stuff like that. But at the same time, he, I always look at the motive. It's like, why the fuck are people trying to live forever? Really? Do you want to live forever, Jack?
I like to tell myself I don't, but maybe I do because I'm scared of death. I'm definitely scared of death. I was much more scared of death when I was a kid.
Yeah,
And you know, when I remember that was my first fear, like a 9 or 10 waking up and being like, "Oh no." And then
Dude,
I had
yeah. You know what I was scared of at that time?
girls.
I was, well, yeah, obviously, but I was scared that I was gonna, I was genuinely scared that I would live forever in heaven.
That is
Genuinely.
that's also a terrifying thought.
I was like, I'm gonna have to be conscious forever. Like when I was 6, I remember that thought, and I would cry. And I remember my brother was like up in above me in the bunk beds, and I was like, dude, do we do this forever? Like when we go to heaven? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, fuck.
I don't know. Yeah, that's also a daunting thought. And
I don't know if
like
that's what he said. Now I'm thinking about it. Is that actually, or is that just in my brain? You know?
no, you're a fucking idiot. Go to bed, Jared.
Yeah, he was really like, are you fucking retarded? Go back to sleep.
Dude, stop waking me up. I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, exactly. But I just don't. Yeah, it's like why, being alive, conscious forever. That's just sounds like hell.
Yes, I do think that we have to make the best, make our lives, make the best use of our lives while we have them. Life is by far, enjoying life is my top priority.
Yeah. What
All
are these
right.
fucking dudes
I
saying?
know. What the fuck are these guys saying now?
There's certainly a version of that where if you could have an avatar version of yourself in the metaverse that people can interact with, and you could define that sort of an AI version where people know that they're interacting with an AI, that it's not the kind of physical version of you, but maybe that AI, even if they know it's an AI, is the next best thing because they're probably not going to necessarily all get to interact with you directly. I think that could be a really compelling experience. There's a lot of things that we need to get right about it. That we're not ready to release the version that a creator can kind of build a version of themselves yet, but we're starting to experiment with it in terms of releasing a number of AIs that people can interact with in different ways. And I think
wanted to say the Kraken.
is also just going to be a very powerful,
Yeah, that would be really fun.
set of capabilities that people have over time.
So you've made major strides in developing.
He didn't hear any
these
fucking thing he just said.
Early AI
No.
personalities, with the idea where you can talk to them across the Meta apps and have interesting, unique kind of conversations. What can you describe your vision there in these early strides? And what?
Can someone tell me if he always closes his eyes like this?
Oh, it's about the.
And a lot of the vision comes from this idea that,
every time he
I don't
does
think we
that,
necessarily want
he
there to
makes
be
a wish.
one big super intelligence. We want to empower everyone to both have more fun, accomplish their business goals.
How the fuck is this going to be more
everything
fun?
that they're trying to do?
It's not.
And we don't tend to have
It's really
one
fun
person
when
that
you're
we
a
work
kid
with on
and you
everything.
find
And
a
I don't think in the
stick.
future we're going to have
I
find
know.
a
one
big stick
AI
in
that
the
we work
yard.
with. I think you're going to want
I know.
a variety of these.
Playing the floor is lava.
so
that was really
there are a
fun.
bunch of different
Dude,
uses.
that was fun.
Some
Dude,
will be
Manhunt. I would
more
love to play Manhunt
system-oriented. There's
now
a
as an adult.
sort of
I
the-
just want to get like
Plain
50
Zuckerberg
friends.
plays that on the
that we're
weekends.
building is called just Meta AI. It's simple.
Yeah.
You can chat with it in any of your threads. It doesn't have a face, right? It's just kind of more vanilla and neutral and kind of factual, but it can help you with a bunch of stuff. Then there are a bunch of cases that are more kind of business oriented. So let's say you want to contact a small business. Similarly, that business probably doesn't want to have to staff someone to man the phones, and you probably don't want to wait on the phone to talk to someone. But having someone who you can just talk to in a natural way, who can help you if you're having an issue with a product, or if you want to make a reservation, or if you want to buy something online, having the ability to do that.
If you genuinely need a fake AI to rather than just like a real person, then you should not be running a business. If you're I need to get a fake AI to communicate to me, to these issues to me, then I promise you, you should not be running a business right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I could not agree more. Oh God, this is disturbing. Isn't this the same as Apple Glass VR chat thing? I don't know enough about that, to be honest.
Yeah, eventually the need for the avatars mute because yeah. What exactly is the goal of this project? Like,
It's to further human connection, like Mark Zuckerberg said. God, at the beginning. Maliki does have a point about when the avatar is mute, because when it's AI versus AI, what is the point? I mean, you could argue this is the fatalist in me, which is like, what's the point of us discussing, as well? If we're really going to die and it's going to go back into the oblivion, which is a likely possibility, what's the point? That being said, I mean, I don't really know what the point of all this is, to be honest. It's a dark path that we're seemingly moving.
yeah. Also, like, it's already fucking creepy. Like, just this video is creepy. Like, if anyone ever requests this with me, I'm just gonna be like, hey, can we just like talk like real people? Like, it's just fucking creepy as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, there is a lot of people who just build technology because we can.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I 100% get that.
And there are and I think this has been said many times. It's like human beings do two things: we reproduce and we build technology and we invent better things. Those are the two things that are universally true among humans. We do invent better things, but why do we invent better things? It's to further our survival, right? Theoretically.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, now we're in a we are in somewhat of a post-scarcity world in the West. So now there's this idea of hyper reality.
Well, we could be post scarcity, except we give all our money to fucking Ukraine and fucking jabronis. It's like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
No, sorry, Ukraine. Again, I don't even have a political opinion on that. I just mean that, like, the idea of, like, we literally could be post-scarcity in the United States, and we aren't, it blows my mind constantly.
Really, whenever I think of, like, post-scarcity and all that shit, it's all just downstream is, like, are people, like, spiritually elevated?
Right.
If there's a household, and there's a guy running the household, and he's a chaotic mess, then obviously the household will not be getting resources in excess. It's the same thing. The same thing goes up the chain. Like, we're not gonna be able to thrive if people are like spiritually dead.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we need, but I think we need. I think the loss of faith is really unhealthy for people. I know we've had this conversation before, and I say this as someone who's been an atheist. I might consider myself more of a Buddhist now, if I'm being honest. But
nice, dude.
I think faith is really important for people, and all this is just dwindling our faith until, what do we have faith in AI? Faith in fucking Zuck? Like, what do we have faith left in?
Yeah, that's what happens in these, like, and I'm not anti-capitalist or anything. I'm just sort of making a point about the economics of it. Once you get to a point where capital is so, like, concentrated in, like, individuals and corporations that have individual shareholders with all this, we start to get into feudalism again. That's just what happens. You start to get people just owning, like how much fucking land do these people own? Like, genuinely, like people like Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates. Like, how much actual land? Like, how much land are they? Does like Bezos own in that whole region of the Pacific Northwest?
Can I be honest? I don't think they own nearly as much as I would. My goal, I remember when I first had the idea of making $1 billion, I was like, I looked up and I did the math on how much money I would need to buy more land than the state of Rhode Island.
Oh, yeah?
Because I thought it would be really cool to own as much land as a full state.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing. I wouldn't do anything with the land. I would just shut it
Yeah.
off from people well, no, I will do one thing. If I had a ton of land, I would erect gigantic marble statues of me and my friends. I want to be like a Roman where I leave like just like me naked with my buddy fishing
Yeah.
somewhere, and they'd be like, I think these people were gods, you know? Like I want that inevitably. Like they want the
Dude,
only thing
I would
left
wanna
over to
do
be
Hunger
statues.
Games.
Oh, wait, with like, so we're just going to what if we get everyone in the chat and we dump them in and we do
Yeah.
Hunger Games with the Schemology fans?
Like Tech Bro Hunger Games. Just get like a whole state, get Rhode Island, and just give like, hey, give someone like you gotta empty it out first. You gotta empty out the whole state
Totally.
so it's nothing in there. No items, nothing.
Uh-huh.
And then you just give everyone an item, Battle Royale style. See what happens.
I spawn in, I just have a gigantic fucking dildo, and I'm like, fuck, what do I do with I have to kill someone with a dildo?
Yeah, you know you get one of these fucking VR headsets. You're like, cool. Nice. No, and also another reality thing is like, are these things, they're not actually useful. Like I'm
Like
just
what?
being straight up. Like these VR headset things. Like I'm just being straight up. Like they don't actually solve any problems. I can't think of one.
It creates a lot of them. Like when the worst thing is I've heard that the best use case for VR is porn, and if that's the best use case, that's a because that's not a good thing. Let's be abundantly clear. That's a bad thing for humanity.
No, the porn, dude, the porn's gonna get crazy. People are gonna be downloading like their VR girlfriends, and they're gonna be like making scenarios where it's like them and like fucking in a room, and then they're gonna add other characters, and also as soon as we start getting UBI, like people are gonna have this fucking time. I don't think we're getting UBI, by the way. Don't get excited.
Yeah, it's not good. I'll just say it right now. It's not looking good.
What do these guys have to fucking say? I honestly like do. Can we skip like a part where they like say funny stuff?
All right, so they've got what do you mean funny? These guys don't have anything funny in them. What about the future of humanity? Should we
Fuck.
skip all the way to
Yeah,
the end?
yeah, let's go there. Yeah.
Let's see what these guys think for the future.
A bunch of 3 minutes.
Oh fuck.
Well, I'm still, so we're talking about AI, but I'm still blown away this entire time that I'm
He's like,
talking
dude,
to Mark
you're
Zuckerberg.
so good at hand jobs.
And you're not here, but you feel like you're here. I've done quite a few intimate conversations with people alone in a room, and this feels like that. So I keep forgetting for long stretches of time that like we're not in the same room. And for me to imagine a future where I can, with a snap of a finger, do that with anyone in my life, the way we can just call right now and have this kind of shallow 2D experience, to have this experience like we're sitting next to each other is like, I don't
Yeah,
think I
dude.
can. I don't think we can even imagine how
Try
that changes
drugs.
things.
That
Where
shit's
you can
crazy too.
immediately.
I know. It's
have
literally
intimate
that's
one-on-one
dude.
conversations
That's what
with
this
anyone.
is. It's literally just drugs.
That might like
It's
the
crack.
way we might
It's
It
just
is.
crack.
Change
Because
civilization.
drugs fucks up your
Well, I mean,
reality.
this is a lot of the
distortion,
thesis behind the
or
whole
distorts your reality. or
metaverse is
distorts
giving
your
people the
reality.
ability to feel like you're present with
Don't do
someone. I
drugs.
mean, this is like the main thing I talk about all the time. But I do think that there's a lot to process about it. I mean, from my perspective, I mean, I'm definitely here. We're just not we're not physically in the same place. It's not like you're you know you're not talking to an AI, right? This is so I think the thing that's novel is the ability to convey through technology a sense of almost physical presence. So the thing that is not physically real is us being in the same physical place, but kind of everything else is. And I think that gets to this.
But
Sorry.
dude, but like literally, like it's the same thing with a phone call. When I talk to my friend on the phone, I know he's not there, but I get all of the we're nurturing our relationship via our voices, right?
Yeah.
And I know what he looks like, and I know what your facial expressions are because I've spent time with you. So
Right.
all this is doing, it's like it's a deeper illusion of a phone call, except it does the same thing as a phone call. I still, like, I'm really sad. I'm not comforted anymore because I can see your AI avatar. I want to fucking hug, you know? And like,
Yeah.
I already can talk to you and you can comfort me over the voice. I don't buy that this is like going to give that what we need is the feeling of physical presence. I think we actually need physical fucking presence.
Yeah. Yeah, and like this isn't everything he's saying. It's like, dude, like honestly, I kind of get all the people that hate on STEM being like, take a fucking philosophy class or like an English class, because
Yeah.
like it's like you should. I'm sure they read like Plato, Aristotle, and all that, but it's like you should really like think a little bit more about how like the world works. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like maybe that's I'm being a dick here, but it's like the way they're talking here. It's like really like I. You really think that that's like good? Like for you think this is actually changing reality for people? It's like the thoughts you said. Like that should be the first thought that you think when you think of these things.
I know, and it's so sad. It's like all of the modern philosophy and resources to help people become more mentally well, none of them have to do with spending more time with technology. Literally none of the fucking steps it takes to become less anxious. Dude, I was feeling really anxious right before this call. Like genuinely.
Yeah,
I was feeling, and I had some stress going on in life and things going on, but I had this feeling of like, oh, like maybe there was some pain in my chest, and I realized I did
yeah,
a chest workout. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I was like,
yeah,
I just had to think to myself, there's nothing wrong. You felt this before. Let's calm down. And I had
yeah,
been staring at screens all fucking day. So I literally went and stood next to my window and stared out the window and was like, we're gonna stare at we're not gonna go on devices till we talk to Jared. But like my solution wasn't like, you know what I need right now? I need an AI avatar of Lex Friedman. I need to put my headset on. And it's like, no, I need to get off of the technology that's ruining my day. Like,
yeah.
it's like the technology is what's making us more mentally unwell. And the idea that more technology, it's like, what we need is more technology. It's like that, there's no part of like mental fitness and wellness where it's like, you need to wake up every day and consume more podcasts and more
Yeah.
media.
So their argument, I think, would be that through this medium, you'll get to do more of those things that don't have human connection, like texting. You'll get to do more of that with more human connection. And they would argue that it raises the most human connection, like possibility that you do over time because you get to do your texts with more facial stuff. My argument against that is that this is just tricking your brain into having a closer connection to something that isn't real, and you're gonna develop with that social development. And
It's the same thing with porn. You're tricking yourself into having sexual release with because you are
yeah,
seeing tits, but it's not real. It's not actually tits. You know, you're not engaging the experience. It's the same thing, but in a whole more like. At least we only have to worry about that with porn. It's like
yeah.
now you have to worry about that with talking to your dead mother. Like for the love of Christ, can no one? How do these nerds not see how this is a problem?
When they said the dead mom thing, I was like, oh, okay, so they're just like fully gone.
Yeah, they're hopeless.
Yeah, like that's not. You don't want to do that. That's
Dude,
not like that's some demon shit.
can you imagine? Literally, can you imagine fucking Joe Rogan saying that? Like Lex Friedman saying that to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's gonna be like, I might actually. You know what? We're not friends anymore. We can't. You're not on the podcast anymore.
No, he'd probably just be like, how much money are you making me today? Okay, that's fine. No, I think Joe would be fine with it. But no, I think like genuinely, this is like a brazen example of like how the tech world is so like the people. I really like it's so funny because I'll like say this stuff. People be like, no, dude, like these people actually like they're really trying to help people. I promise you, like I've worked at different companies at different levels of small to big, and I promise you, the majority of people behind tech companies see humans as cattle. That's just a fact. I'm not saying that a lot of times they think they're doing the right thing, but they often see humans as cattle. And when I see shit like this, I'm like, oh, they think if they do this, they can like change the way people's psychology is. So maybe, like, I do genuinely think Mark Zuckerberg wants to change people's psychology for the better. I think so, and I think he does think this is going to do that. The problem is you can't change the world, buddy. It's not gonna happen. You're just gonna make shit like worse. That's what happened. It's the Revenge of the Nerds fucking archetype. It's the same shit over and over again.
It's, and I will say, on to the point of like them thinking that human beings are cattle, it's the same thing that happens when you live in a city, right?
Yeah.
You're conditioned because you're around so many people. You're stimulated by people so much that you're like, it's hard. You can't wrap your head around it, right? Like, it's a much bigger deal when you encounter a person in a small town than it is in a city, because there's just so many people and you're desensitized to it. It's the same
100%.
thing with tech people. They're desensitized to the fact that their objective is to make more money and to grow more users. So you're thinking of things as literally users. And what is where else do we think of people as users? Heroin, crack, they're users. So it's like you're thinking of people as literally users of a drug in many ways, is what this is what you can boil this down to.
Yeah. And the drug is, and it's instant gratification. It's like, because you get human gratification from this. You get like, I'm positive if I put these VR headsets on, I would be like, oh wow. Like I'm positive I would have a moment where I am simulating like my traditional experiences of human interaction onto this like persona that I'm seeing, and I might get like a positive feedback loop. What happens if I get addicted to that? Also, what happens if that's like a sexual thing? What happens if it's like I relive fantasies with like sexual things, or I relive things and I just like make an AI of it and I just live with that. And I get this, because the same thing with junk food, you get a low grade of nutrition.
Dude, another dark thing. I just thought I'm back on the, like, someone dying point. Your spouse dies. And so you make a virtual AI that you get to fuck your spouse again. Your dead spouse, you get to have sex with them again, and you get to model out, like, you put in their kinks and their fucking things they say to you, and you get to actually have this, like, literal gratification of fucking your dead spouse for a moment in the metaverse. How dark is that?
What about not even your dead spouse, but someone you're stalking?
Of course. Well, that's the common thing. That's probably gonna happen. Oh, it's already happening.
Next stream,
guarantee.
Jared the Coder builds a stalker. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, stalker bot. Oh God.
Imagine I only did ideas like that. Like how would you would you genuinely just be like, dude?
Yeah, I'd say you're fucked. I know. I mean, like, that's my greatest fear is you wake up and you're like, dude, I built a fucking bot for the Proud Boys. We get to join the revolution, and I'm like, oh no.
Typically, when I'm saying ideas that I'm about to stream to you, I'm like, I need someone to either tell me not to do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a AI clone of Lex Friedman and Mark Zuckerbergs.
Yeah, the day that Alex Jones dies, you're creating a clone of him immediately.
I mean, like, you could making like a clone. The obvious idea is you make like an AOC clone, like, to say Alex Jones, to be hosting as Alex Jones on his podcast. That's like an obvious. Like,
that is pretty funny though.
Like, that would be that's kind of like an obvious thing my brain's going towards. You could definitely do that, by the way.
Yeah, it's probably doable.
Phones are literally crack.
Yeah.
Well, they're not literally crack, but they're kind of like crack.
Unless.
What do these crackheads have to say?
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they just did like a ton of fucking like crack, Adderall, fucking methamphetamines before this.
They just come on tweaking.
What philosophical question about what is the nature of kind of the modern real world? And I just think it really is this combination of a physical world and the presence that we feel, but also being able to combine that with this increasingly rich and powerful and capable digital world that we have, and all of the innovation that's getting created there. So I think it's super exciting because, I mean, the digital world is just increasing. in its capability.
Mark is
and
right
our
to
ability
bet on
do
this.
awesome things.
He's of course
But
right
the
to bet
physical
on
world
it.
is so
It's just an
profound, and that's
addiction.
a
It's the
lot of what
addiction
makes
of
us human,
like
is
everything
that
else.
we're
You think
physical
this Hail
beings.
Mary is
So I don't
gonna
think we want to
work?
run away from that and just spend all
It
day
very
on a
well
screen.
could.
And that's like, it's one of the reasons why I care
Because,
so much
but here's
about,
the thing.
about helping to
I
shape
think
and
Mark's gonna
accelerate
Mark.
that,
I mean, I could
these
also
future
see it
compute
like a
platforms,
like a
just because it's
multiverse
so
timeline
powerful. And
where Mark just becomes fucking depressed because
Yeah.
the killer app. Oh, I forgot. I stopped. The killer app for what he's doing ends up just being like fucking porn. Like that's literally it.
Yeah.
Because it will be. Mark my words. The killer application, like the way that Facebook becomes hyper
Oh, you're
relevant
gonna
again.
re-add the? You don't have to re-add the fucking video.
Are we done with these dorks?
Yeah, dude, this video, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
like destroying my brain. So Dom's like, are you like a coder at Google? What projects importance does tech have for you out of interest if you spend so much time in the space? Out of interest, don't take offense. I'm not a coder at Google. That's a very specific company. Wait, do I like say that in a video? What importance does tech have for you out of interest if you spend so much time in the space? I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
Like why? I guess why do you why do you care about tech so much? Why do you code? Let's start
Oh,
there.
why do I code? Oh, I must have made a misinterpretation. Oh, okay. Why do I code? Because it's fun to build stuff. I just like build. I'm just a coder, dude. It's not. It's yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I like building things. Yeah,
And I like
That's it.
scheming.
yeah, yeah.
It's simple
it.
as it gets.
We don't work at Google.
Jared, I hate to break it to you. I'm the CEO of Google.
Ah, shit.
I know.
Is this an interview? Fuck.
Yeah. You. By the way, you didn't make it.
They're like, by the way, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
Eventually, Google will just have the right to like take people to jail. That's all. That's how our feudalist, like capitalist world is going to get to. That like
Yeah.
Meta is going to be like, oh, you're just in jail now. They'll have that
Yeah.
authority.
Yeah, I mean, literally, dude, this stuff is jail. It is prison for your mind. That's the worst part about it, you know? Like, I
Yeah.
feel so bad for all these people who are like wrapped up in thinking that this is good for them. It's just prison
Yeah.
in a different form, you know?
Do you think there's going to be like instant gratification ghettos where it's like you just like you just go into like a virtual ghetto during the day where you just fucking, instead of like doing heroin, you like go to like the porn station, or you go to like there's gonna be like a station where it's just like sounds like ding, 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 ding.
Dude,
Just whatever addictions you want.
No, what I think it's going to be is it's going to be like driving through like Skid Row or like
Yeah.
East LA or something. And it's going to be
Yeah.
like you and I in a hover car. And you're going to be like, oh, have you seen this part of town? Like, this is where all the fucking jumpers are going. And it's like all the
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
just like have headsets on. They're just like out there, just like seizing and jerking off in the streets in these fucking Zuckerberg headsets. And you're like, dude, those people are sick. They're just addicted to a world. I don't even know where they
Yeah.
are. I think that's what it's going to be like. It's just going to be like the equivalent of heroin addicts, but for this dumb technology. Like this is the room everyone goes to talk to their dead parents. Like they're
Yeah.
over there is like the brothels, except you don't have sex with real people anymore. You go just get jerked off by a robot that pretends to have sex with you with a VR headset on.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And if people fucking read more instead of went on their stupid VR, they would know, hey, this is end of Weimar Republic. This is what it fucking looked like. At Berlin, which was outside, or right outside, there was like the Skid Row they had. There was like every single street, there was a different type of prostitute fetish you could get. It's the same. It's like when nations fall, when you have these economies like the hyperinflation, like the just economies getting decimated by debt, you start to get people getting into their addictions a little bit.
yeah,
So it happened in Rome. I mean, not that specific example.
Sure.
But variations.
yeah. And we are describing Blade Runner because that's where this is going.
Yeah.
It's 1984. It's Blade Runner. Like you're gonna see police robots, and you're gonna see all sorts of, and that's the And, again, I was listening to Tim Dillon earlier, and it was like one of the things he was talking about illegal immigration. It's like immigration has been so paramount to the progress of the United States, no doubt. But also, there is likely a tipping point for how we can barely manage our own population outside of immigrants, right? We have, the third leading cause of death in the United States right now after heart attack and obesity, or heart attack and cancer, is fentanyl. And then after that, it's every other drug. And it's like we can barely we don't have good food, we don't have the good education systems, and now we're taking in hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of immigrants who are coming from really tough situations. And if I were them, I would also come to America. I would do the same.
Yeah,
but the reality, of course, but the reality is there probably is a tipping point in which, USA, there is a tipping point in which society, like our society, we can't even save ourselves. So it's like,
once your birth rate's under 2, you're not replacing yourself. Maybe don't bring in a ton of migrants. Fuck it, YouTube, take me off. I don't give a fucking.
So it's like we can't service our own people and service our own problems, and we're so consumed with division and political identity and all some things like that it's like, it does speak to us becoming more and more disjointed. It speaks to us becoming more police state oriented, where you have, robots going around and patrolling, and also part of the problem is what Tim was saying is like, and I actually think that this is probably a good bet, is like if you have influx of immigrants and we already have all of our problems, and it's not the immigrants' fault for our problems, we just can't even handle our own shit, but you start having all these people flood in, and then things do start to get bad because we can't help them and ourselves, so things just get worse for everyone, which then means that the people that were here before, meaning the U.S. citizens, want more draconian measures. They want to have more police state measures. They want to check IDs. They want to have more authoritarianism to stop the flood of like dissolving society, which isn't necessarily the immigrants' fault. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that like that would be an advent of all of this.
You want me to say something that's really back to the Weimar Republic thing? So people should really read their history. So the people of Berlin, the average person of Berlin, they wanted the brown shirts to fucking come in. And I'm not saying I support brown shirts. That's like Hitler and his buddies. I'm not saying that they're good or anything. I'm just saying what happened. Like, whenever you have these fallen societies, people will want the strong. That's why you have all these gangs running like fucking Mexico. It's like there's phases in the Italian mob at a point in New York. There's phases where people do want the mob, the ordered force to dominate the area so they can clean up the streets. That's the offer that these forces do. They say, we'll clean up the streets if you turn the other way and you give us control. It's not just like they're super bad. Like, it's very political how people take over regimes. Yeah. It's like, people are going to want to fucking New York, Jack, people are going to want to clean that shit up. People are going to look at all the people saying who are like super sensitive over the past few years about, oh my God, don't say anything about the migrants and the open borders and all that. They're as soon as some strong lyric is going to come, they're going to look the other way, baby. They're going to be like, oh, what? I'm going to have a nice neighborhood for the first time in my life?
Mayor Thomas, literally 2 years ago during 2021 was like, we will always be a sanctuary for immigrants. And now he's coming in and literally he did a speech like 2 weeks ago saying every single neighborhood will be negatively impacted or is already negatively impacted by immigrants, and our social systems can't hold all these people. That was a speech he had 2 weeks ago. So 2 years ago, this guy, and again, he's liberal. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to help these people. In many ways, I do too. But we can't even help ourselves in many ways. So it's like, and there probably needs to be a better system for helping them. Like there needs to be better. I do think we need to fix immigration. We need to have a better process for letting people come in legally. There shouldn't how many friends do you know? How many great people do you know who are high functioning members of society, like that can't get visas here? who make
Yeah,
good
no,
money.
I have a friend
You know?
just like that. Yeah.
And there should be opportunity for people who don't have money but are really here to work hard and build a great life. There should be opportunities for everyone of all social classes to immigrate into America. We need to fix that system. And the answer isn't just illegal let everyone in. It's like illegal immigration is inherently not a good thing. We want more legal immigration, right? Like, I don't know how it became such a controversial thing to be like illegal immigration is bad. The illegal immigrants are not bad,
No,
and I think many of them. I want many of them to be able to come here. I know I have many friends who are illegal immigrants or were at one point.
Yeah, it's not even controversial. The Overton window is moving so far to the left that now it's like you say like basic stuff. Like if you actually heard, and I don't approve, I'm not approving or disapproving of any politicians, but if you heard stuff Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton were saying in 2008, they would sound like feverish conservatives today. And that's not even that long ago. Like clearly our society's not normal. And I'm not like actually taking sides. But I think it's super important to like confront reality and like the truth of what's going on. The reality is the reason why people can't talk about migration right now is because like it's super, in my opinion, it's super beneficial for those narratives to be utilized by political actors to get massive populist support and from working class people, and it's often used to like destroy your society. I mean, I don't think like on purpose or anything, but foreign people, China, like other countries will utilize that, like those types of populist heal the world narratives to like be like, oh, they're actually getting weaker now, let's attack. Like people don't attack as much when you have like a super ordered like dude that's like protectionist as fuck economically. It's very like other nations are like, oh, like we need to like these guys are like going to get a stronger army in the next 10 years. We should like, catch up. America right now is like slowly getting weaker, dumber, and gayer. It's reality.
Yeah. I mean, I do hope, to Dom's point in the chat, I really, there's an AI regulation summit happening in the UK in November. Good night, Dom, by the way. It's been a pleasure having you.
Oh, see you, Dom. Dude, Dom, you've been great in the chat.
Yeah, you've been crushing. And I do hope that we get AI regulation right. That's like, but then we need it to be also, we need to start dealing with reality, and we need to stop politicizing these issues. Politics 100%. Is lame. Politics is so lame. I want to solve problems. I don't care you're a Democrat or a Republican. I don't judge you because you believe a certain thing. I ask, why do you believe that? What conditioned you to believe that? What happened in your life that you think abortion's bad or good? That's an interesting question. Like, I don't want to have to be like, oh, you're a good person for believing one thing or the other. I want to think like, how do we start solving the problems we have rather than being like, focusing on these minute issues that aren't even that important. And then we just keep letting pharmaceutical companies and corporations and the government rape and pillage our lands. Like,
And part of the reason why I'll like say something about liberals directly is mostly because of the way the reactions are and the people. Like, I know you can always tell where there's a desert of authenticity and reality in something because are people afraid to talk about it. It's like where people in fucking Martin Luther's time, people were afraid to talk about why they had to pay these tithes and shit. It's like what are people afraid to fucking talk about? I actually don't care at all if people are Democrat or Republican. It's not like I actually don't like have any political side, kind of like what you're saying, Jack. It's about like solving the actual problems, like, and speaking the truth as much as possible.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's a frustrating thing as someone who's like, I have predominantly liberal beliefs, like for the most part. I think, but like things are nuanced, and I believe things 100%. Across both party lines, and I think it's anyone who subscribes to one political identity exclusively. I just think you're dumb, or you're a fool, or you're lying to yourself. And why are you?
Dude, the Republicans are going to save us now. It's like, it's retarded.
Yeah, really. It's just so tiring. This was an interesting, dude. This was an interesting the reaction. I wanted to ask you before I forget. How did you feel about this reaction content? We did it. We became React guys. Hey guys.
Honestly, I like it. Let's pick one that's like not like super boring. Like
Yeah.
we had to really make it more interesting, which is cool. Like it was like a good performance for us to like see if we can make things interesting.
Dude,
But
I didn't. And by the way, I didn't do it for anyone in the chat. I did it entirely for you and me because otherwise I would have just shut the computer off and given up on schemology because it was rough.
yeah, no, like eventually I can't just hear because I've heard so much of that engineer talk and like the like product, like we're gonna like heal the world talk. I just can't do it.
I
It's
know.
like it's like you're not
I
gonna. It's
know.
like you're
It's
just
like,
gonna destroy shit.
I know. I know. And listen, I'm not saying technology hasn't helped. Technology has always solved problems.
Oh
But
yeah,
but
yeah.
like digital technology, social media has solved very few problems.
No, media itself. Like just being straight up about it. Like we always think media is it like connects the world. The look at the rates of all social markings, like divorce one, like a ton, like since the '60s, since like the media boom of the '60s and like the journalism. Pretty much most social markings of what makes a society like the well-being good has been falling since then. Like for
Yeah.
mostly all demographics, you could say, oh, it hasn't for blacks. Look at their communities getting broken up. We don't have to get into that. That's the whole thing. But it's like it's no, like I media in general is not helping society. I'm just being straight. Like
It does introduce us to new ideas, you know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
and that's the thing I struggle with. Like, how many awesome YouTube channels do you know that like, I think about. Let me think of some real life lore that goes into like supply chain and logistics.
yeah,
I have this Wendover Productions. They go into like why Namibia's coastline is 97%
hundred
empty.
percent.
You know, I like that stuff is so awesome. It's like a access to
It's
information.
amazing.
But the reality is, most people are using media to absorb politics, reality TV, and like dumb mind. They're not gathering new information and expanding
Yeah,
worldly perspectives. They're being hyperstimulated with poison for their minds. The same way that they're being hyperstimulated with poison for their bodies with donuts and Twinkies and other shit. And I just like it all comes down to discipline. So like, is technology teaching us more discipline?
yeah,
If it is, then it's good, but it's not. And until we start having like technology leaders that are pushing for discipline and the use of technology to help people be more disciplined in their own lives and live
yeah.
like the reality is discipline and healthy lifestyle will set you free.
It is
It's not consuming
100%.
more. Consumption is
Yeah,
not setting you free. Consumption of
yeah,
everything is not setting you free.
yeah. And this whole like, well, right now, what I see it as, I'll say this a lot, is that we've had a spiritual decay really in this country since like largely since the '60s, and I think a lot of it is to do because of media and because of a lot of these advancements. Not, I'm actually not even saying media is bad at all. It's just the result of what happened. People don't have faith. They don't have a lot of the things that would develop your consciousness, your as a
Right.
living man and woman beforehand. And it's the whole Nietzsche God is dead thing. We're in a hyper accelerated format of that, and it's not getting. Now we're in a unique position where it's so funny with all this media. If you take someone, an average person in the '50s with all this media, they'd be like, I think they'd be like a fucking superhero. But it's like, just you could just read how people talked and acted back then. It's like these people definitely had more discipline, like on average. And I think that right now it's beautiful. What you're saying about those YouTube channels you learn from, it's fucking beautiful what we can
Totally.
do. And we have so much, we have like exponentially more potential intellectually now. Like the amount you can learn. Like yesterday, I was going on so many deep dives on fucking like on systems of logic and like learning about these philosophers and all this stuff. I would like that would have not nearly been, and then hearing people do commentary on it and more papers on it. And nowadays, it's like you have to have the discipline to keep your attention fucking single and not be like, oh, I gotta look over here. I gotta go to OnlyFans, TikTok, so you can utilize all this potential and actually like grow and choose it because yeah, you're just gonna become a little like Coomer Dungeon like simp if you don't.
Totally. Is my audio fucked up leaning back? I just got more
No,
dude,
it's
I
good.
just became more and more casual as the time, and I kind of like
Dude,
it. I'm letting go on the I'm starting to find my flow state on this podcast. You know what I mean? Oh, did Jared die again? Oh no. Well, Jared's dead. God, this keeps happening. I mean, we did a pretty good job. We got deep into the rabbit hole of oh, you're back? You're not dead?
yeah, we
Dude.
have to because I'm on my phone, so I don't know how. Dude, I don't know what's going on. My power is like
Dude,
my
flow
power
state.
sucks. Yeah, flow state. Yeah,
Dude,
no.
Jackson, you're 100%. I've entered the flow state on the pod. It's the leaning back. Well, what it is I had to get a new cord because I bought this fucking stupid expensive mic, but
Yeah.
they give you like an $8 cord. No, not even $8, like a 80-cent cord that breaks and unplugs.
Yeah.
Now I have a good one, so I can actually lean back and get comfy.
By the way, we could talk about this later when we scheme the pod, but I know when we get into flow state versus when we don't. And,
I know.
and I figured it out this pod, and I'm learning how to like balance a lot of like our attention more. We gotta because like once we hit a flow state, I can see we're just crushing more. I can
Oh,
just see it.
I know.
And
Dude,
we hit
Jackson,
it-
good to have you here, buddy.
Wait. I can't see the fucking comments. Yeah, Jackson, what's up?
Jackson's my boy. Jackson's actually going to be making our schemer merchandise.
Oh, for real, Jackson.
Dude, Jackson's an
We
elite
need
level
that.
schemer.
Jackson, what's your schemes?
He's a fashionista.
Fashionista,
Also a tech guy and a sales guy.
sales guy. By the way, Jackson, I currently need a sales guy to automate some stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. He might no schemes. Stop that. You always got schemes, Jackson. They're in your heart of hearts.
Gotta get on your scheme, Jackson.
Yeah, what's holding you back?
Yeah.
God damn. I want to talk to you about how we get deeper into our flow state though. I'm excited.
Yeah. No, it's like it's how we manage chat and we manage like our attention with like engaging versus not. I think there's a good balance.
Yeah,
And I think the reaction was great for it.
I agree. It gave us context to latch in on. We're outside of the context of just the chat. This is an It's
100%.
interesting learning. Like we're really learning more and more every time we do this. It's really
Dude,
interesting experience.
By the way, your videos crushes, by the way.
I appreciate it. That was a lot of fun to make. That was a lot of fun. I got to make more videos. I got sidetracked today, but I've got a couple. I've started working on 3 or 4 scripts, but I have one that's just going to be full rant. After Jackson gave me a pep talk and told me to go back into flow state mode.
Yeah. Honestly, if you did a rant, because I'm really realizing like that's a skill to be able to just get in your fucking flow and just like be able to verbally escalate and shit. Once you do that, I think you'll be able to get in those feeds, baby.
I know, dude.
100%.
I popped off. We both popped off this.
Yeah. No, dude, 100%.
Dude.
100%.
All right. I guess we'll call it there.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining another Schemology podcast. By the way, like, if you like this podcast and like, please subscribe to it's on my channel, the scheme, and should be on the link. Please subscribe to the Schemology podcast as well as the Jared Decoder one. We're going to be posting other clips there. Also, I mean, Jack can do it himself, but I'll do it for him as well. Like, subscribe to Jack Kuvek, obviously. We need to add that link to the description. Can you send? Or I'll add it.
Well, yeah, I got you. We will subscribe to everything that we're doing. Obviously,
Everything.
we're the only people on the internet you should be listening to. Our whole scheme here is to become the overlords of your lives. Like, you already have overlords. Just pick us. We're good. We're better than the overlords you have. Just make us your overlords.
Oh, Dom
This is
has
a joke.
another question. Oh, I'm not joking. I'm your overlord. Just kidding.
All right, fine, Dom. You're the last one. MVP of the
last
pod.
question.
I would
We're
love if he
waiting
just
to
never
go.
posted.
We're just
He-
sitting here. But
He just trolled us. We're just waiting for an hour and a half.
also, Spotify. Yeah, the power's out. Yeah, I'm on
In
my
your
phone.
apartment?
Yeah.
How are the lights
So-
on?
It's all through my laptop. It's actually kind of amazing.
That is amazing. Dom, Jared has maybe 8% battery left.
Dom's really
You might
good at
have-
this stuff.
He's taking his sweet time.
That's
We're
the
gonna have to
last
get to the point where we're doing this podcast via we do call-ins and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We should do call-ins.
And we're gonna get just insane people to call. Like our call-ins are just gonna be. So I had this idea.
Oh my god. I mean, we've already had a ton of like crazy engagement with like some of these people. I'm like, how are you like here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've encountered psychos, we've encountered incels, we've encountered basically everything under the sun. It's interesting, and we've been doing it for 12 episodes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess this is an episode.
I guess so. This is a
This
bonus app.
Yeah. This is our most concurrence, by the way. By far.
Of course, I told you we had to go back to streaming on your channel. We were missing out on our sweet. Now we can just harass our audience into subscribing to us on all the other platforms.
Okay, Dom. You have like
Post it in the Discord. We
Dom,
love you. Discord.
Okay, Dom. We might have to. Might have to expedite this one.
Yeah, everyone listening on audio only is just going to be like, who the fuck is this Dom guy, and why are these two idiots entertaining this for so long?
Dom, I think you're the only one here, dude.
All right, he's not here anymore. Dom, if you are here, put it in the Discord. We will personally
Yeah, put it in
respond
the
to you.
Discord.
Appreciate everyone watching us today. Mark Zuckerberg and Lex Friedman are going to destroy your lives. Go hug your mom.
Thanks for joining, everyone.